Hello again and welcome to Bridge of Insight. Now today we're going to be doing messages from your angels, your spirit team, your ancestors, whichever resonates for you. If you like these videos, please let us know and leave a comment down below, like or share the video. Now take a moment to center yourself. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in again and breathe out. Now, if you don't already feel connected to a group, please take a few more minutes for yourself to really center your mind, clear your mind, and pick a pile that you feel most drawn to. And I'll see you later. Hi, and welcome to your reading group 1111. So your cards that came out were pretty interesting. We're going to go over each card individually first, and then we'll talk about the overall message, which you might even be able to tell based on the cards that came out. The first card that came out for you is the High Lady of Love and Compassion. Now underneath the title, it says it represents reverence, kindness, and consideration. I'm going to read a little bit from the passage just for a little bit more background. As your ally, she brings you a deep and meaningful message. She reminds you the only love is real. It is the sole, unconditional, and true power behind all means of manifesting out of the unseen into the material. Now, in this description, it also talks about how you are loved, Group 1. And you need to remember and treat yourself the way you deserve to be treated, right? So we may be loving and caring to everybody around us, but sometimes they don't always treat us the way we deserve back. And that's why this card is very important. It's about understanding that what we give also needs to be received, because you deserve it. And love is the most powerful feeling that a human can experience. It is positivity. What you think becomes real. So we want to stay in this energy of embracing the positivity. Now, I know that's not always easy. You're not always going to be in a positive mindset, but this is talking more about not letting the negative energies that may or may not be surrounding you impact yourself, not letting people talk down to you, not letting people squash your dreams. This is really about embracing the love for yourself while also giving to others. This is more talking about having the compassion for yourself and embracing that, and making sure the people you're surrounding yourself with embrace that as well, because you deserve it and you are loved. The universe loves you. Your angels love you. Don't ever think for a moment that you're not loved, that you're alone, because you were never alone. Your spirit team, your guardians, your ancestors, they are always surrounding you. Now, beside the High Lady of Love and Compassion, as a challenger, you got the Sacred Union. And if you look closer into the picture, it's very much a Romeo and Juliet type image of two people embracing one another. And it goes back to what we were talking about before, right? So what we give people is what we deserve back. And because this is a challenger and it's reversed, this is expressing for you to be mindful about the people you're surrounding yourself with. There's someone in your energy. It could be an old friend, it could be a family member, it could be a partner, it could be a potential partner coming in, a coworker, it could be a neighbor, it can really be anyone, but it's someone in your field, however that resonates for you, someone in your energy field that is not good for you. And the vibe that I get throughout this whole reading, it's almost like, and you'll see more when we get a little bit more into the other cards, but it feels very much like you don't believe in yourself, or you don't think you deserve love or compassion, or if you're in a bad relationship, or you have only one friend and they treat you badly, and you're like, oh well, it's okay because they're my friend. It's like, no, that's the kind of energy that this group has. There's someone, it's almost like an obsessive addiction of you, maybe not doing it on purpose. You're just putting yourself down, thinking you deserve this, or oh, it's okay because it's just my friend. It's like, no. Even if it's a family member, you have to remember that love is the most important thing. And loving yourself comes first. So whoever this is in your energy, they are not helping you reach your highest potential. So whoever this person is, however it resonates for you, and it's going to be different for everybody, this person is just holding you back from being your highest self, holding you back from embracing who you are meant to be. And beside it, we have the River Queen. Now this one is upright. And underneath the River Queen, it says flow, letting go, and natural movement. So again, we're repeating this idea of letting go of somebody. There's somebody, maybe you're attached to them. That's a potential. It might not be for all of you, or you feel some kind of commitment to this person, but you have to let them go. I'm actually going to read a little bit of the passage here in the booklet. It says, the River Queen requires you to be fluid and to let go of rigidity and perfectionism. You will travel far as long as you let go and let flow, even maneuvering around the greatest blockages like water streams around big boulders. Whoever this is, they are preventing you. They could be preventing you from somebody. It could be, if this is a work situation, it could be a coworker friend who keeps telling you, oh yeah, like you'd be really great for this position, like I'm so glad that you're trying to go out for that promotion, when in reality, behind their back, maybe they're kind of sabotaging you. It feels a little bit more romantic leaning, if I'm being honest, but again, you have to take it as it resonates for you, because this is a general reading. Now, so this is going back a little bit to the to what I was saying before, of almost feeling addicted to this relationship, potentially the toxic relationship. Underneath that, we have Bat Spirit, and Bat Spirit talks about a rebirth is assured. So you may be afraid to leave this relationship, and that's kind of why I was talking about it feels a little bit more romantic in nature. Maybe you're afraid to leave this person because you rely on them financially or what have you. But Spirit and angels are here to tell you you're gonna be fine. It might be difficult. It might be scary, but you're gonna come out of it okay. And beside that, we have Skunk Spirit, which weirdly, Skunk Spirit is know your worth, right? So we're talking about, again, this idea of loving yourself. Not letting other people make you feel like you are less than. Not letting people control you and your reality, because you control you. Angels supports you. Your angels love you. You're never alone. And beside Skunk Spirit, we have Buffalo Spirit. And Buffalo Spirit's talking about the abundant universe will provide. So again, it's this repeating message that Spirit's not going to let you fall. They are going to get you through it, whatever the situation may be. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. Now, the garden cards that came out for you are success, bloom wherever you are planted, rest, slow down, you don't have to solve everything today, joy, make time for the little things today, and self-care, tend your garden. You are going to be okay. Take one step at a time, right? You need to care for yourself first. You need to put the time that you may be putting into others or other relationships you have, you need to take care of yourself, because at the end of the day, you are the most important relationship you have with yourself. Loving yourself comes first before you can love other people. And you need to make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who treat you the way you deserve. It might take a while, it might be really scary. Especially if what's coming off the rest card right now is if you've been in a toxic relationship for a very long time, without realizing it, sometimes your body will go into trauma protective mode. And that's what this card right now is talking to me about. You need to get out of that mode and take time for yourself and heal. And it will be okay. I know I keep saying that, but that it just keeps coming up in my head that it will be okay. Now let me grab. Okay, the rune that came out for you guys, it represents livestock, which actually the time period for this is coming up. It's from June 29th to July 13th. And what it represents is trust, recovery, gain, trade, offspring. Something hidden comes to light, evolution, and beware of frauds. So again, we're repeating this idea of you coming out of something that no longer serves you. It's probably a partnership, but it's something it'll be okay. It will be okay. Thank you, my lovely group 1111, and you will be okay. Welcome to your reading group 222. Let's just get right into it. So the first card that you guys had come up is the Dream Walker. Now it is in the Challenger position, which means it's reversed. And the description of this card underneath the title is Dreams, the Collective Good, and Illusions. Now in the reversal position, what this card is talking about, it's talking about almost getting yourself out of the humdrum life. It's asking you to wake up from your restless sleep because you're not dreaming at all. This is asking you to embrace your passions again. Embrace your dreams. Don't let them go. And don't leave them behind you because they're very important. There's a reason why you care about certain things. And what's really fascinating, so the reason we have dreams and hobbies and passions is for a purpose. There's a reason everybody has different things they're interested in, right? It's not by accident. And so what your angels are asking you to do is reawaken that dream, that passion, that fire that drives you. The whole point of living life is to embrace the things we truly care about. Don't give up on them. They're very important to the core of our being. And especially in this day and age, sometimes there's just so much noise going on and so much chaos surrounding us that it's important to ground ourselves. It's funny because it's like to ground, because you ground yourself when you're doing your hobby. You're kind of very focused on it, right? But you're also playing in the mind and in this intuitive, airy energy. And what I'm seeing right now in my mind's eye is kind of like if you're sitting at a desk and you're drawing or you're writing or you're sketching or whatever your hobby looks like, and you're seated in your spot, you're grounded, you're focused on the piece of paper in front of you, but above you is kind of like this imagination dream world that you're honing in on. And your angels and your spirit guides are asking you to get back to that. And the card we have beside that, which is really interesting, is the Well Watcher. So in this particular deck, the well is guarded by a gate surrounding it. And there's a young man standing by the gate, kind of protecting it. And what it represents in this deck, the well is source. It is divine power. It is the universe. It is everything. And it's your ancestors, your spirit guides, your angels, whatever resonates for you, they're asking you to go back to the well. Go back to source. Go back to your true north. And bring whatever hobbies, whatever dreams you had back. Even if it was from when you were a child. Maybe you were a child and you really liked going on the swings. That's something you can bring back. It's something as simple as just maybe stopping at a park on your way home from work and just swinging on the swings. Because those little things bring you back to who you truly are, who you started out as. The purity of who you are. Now I'm going to read this part from the booklet of the Well Watcher. It says, let me go back. It says, the affirmation and prayer will invite the divine to bring miracles and resolution to your life. Thy will be done through me for the highest good of all and for the true manifestation of my purpose. So we're going back to this idea again, that your dreams, your passions are not a coincidence. There's a reason they're there, because the divine put them there, because you were born with it. Beside that, we have the Desert Prince, which is really interesting, because the Desert Prince is talking, obviously, in this image, the Desert Prince is kind of in this arid, dry environment, right? And to me, this is kind of talking about potentially your life. It's like you're just surrounded by the mundane, the boring, everyday life, and there's no water there. And you're kind of thinking like, well, where's the juice? Where's the passion? Where's the life? You're dying of thirst, and everybody else is kind of not noticing it, if that makes sense. You're trying, underneath the card, it says survival, false promises. So maybe what life is, according to society, isn't sustaining you. And again, we need to go back to your true north. Now, these spirit oracle cards that came out for you are really interesting as well. And the scarab beetle spirit, which, if any of you know, it is tied to Egyptian mythology, Egyptian imagery. It's very important in that environment, in that desert environment. It thrives in the desert environment. And in this picture, it's a little bit hard to see, but in the center of the scarab beetle is the kind of silhouette or shape of a person. And what the scarab beetle talks about is magic works through you. Right? So we know that there is a reason for this passion, for this fire within you, and you need to bring it back. It's very important that you bring it back, whatever it is to you. Even if it's something small, it doesn't have to be something, you don't have to quit your job and go become a painter. That's not what we're talking about here. What we're talking about here is within your life, taking small steps, small actions towards the things that you love and the things that you care about. Because what your energy has to give might be able to help somebody else, even if you don't realize it. And beside the beetle spirit here, we have the brown bear spirit, which talks about taking time out. Taking that time to reflect, just like the well watcher's talking about. We're going to the well and we're looking in the water and we're taking moments, time, going back to your childhood memories to really think about what were the things that brought me my truest happiness. Beside that, we have Horse Spirit. And this card is about freeing yourself, being wild, roaming free. And beside that, we have the Antelope Spirit, which talks about life speeding up. So the more we feed this passion and this positive energy, the more doors will open. The more we'll get to do, the more people will connect with that maybe have the same passion or a similar passion. And what I really like also, which is really, really cool, is the garden cards that came out for you, which is, the first one is the beginnings. Don't be afraid to start small. Like I said, stop at the park and go on the swings. Take 5 minutes to draw a doodle. Whatever that looks like for you, do it. It's very important. It's who you are. Underneath that, we have serenity. Value quiet days with only the rustling leaves breaking the silence. So again, we're talking about taking the time out, going to the well, listening to the things that you forgot that you loved or you liked doing. It's very important. And the last one you had, which I thought was really funny, is the wallflower. Look for the crack in the concrete to find your way out. We're talking, it's so exciting because it's like, get out of that wallflower, dry desert life. Embrace the change. Embrace your inner child. Play again. You got to be the sunflower. No more wallflower. You got to be the sunflower. And I swear, it's like, sometimes when I'm pulling the cards, it feels like, it's just pure magic because all the cards come out and they all make perfect sense. And the rune that came out for you guys was the sun rune. Energy, success, genius, activity. You've got to get out of the wallflower. You got to stop being the wallflower and embrace the sun. Be the sunflower. I hope you enjoyed that, group 222. Be the sunflower. Hello and welcome to your reading, group 333. Now, I do have to say that out of all the groups, yours is probably the most intense reading we have today. So I just like to stress to take whatever resonates for you and leave the rest behind. So let's get into it here. The first card that came out for you is the Altar Priestess. And the description underneath that card is preparation, prayer, and sacred ritual. If I can speak, you would know what I was saying. This card is asking you to find a way, even if you're not a religious person, or if you just don't believe in that stuff, it's asking you to find a way to seek out meditation, to find something, whatever that looks like to you, some kind of spiritual practice for yourself that works. Does that make sense? You don't have to go to a church or a synagogue. You can go for a walk in nature. You can sit on a pillow on the floor and meditate. You can do whatever works best for you. Angel and Spirit are asking you to take time and look at your situation through the eyes of the divine. You may sit there, and this kind of makes sense once we go through the rest of the card, but you may sit there and think about how chaotic your life is right now. Maybe you're sitting there and thinking, your life has always been in this turmoil, or there's always kind of something negative or bad happening. And when I go through everything, it'll kind of make a little bit more sense. But when I was doing the meditation for your reading, the 333 sound hertz that I had on, it reminded me of almost like being underwater. And I know I said this, but again, when I go back through it, it'll make a little bit more sense. But Spirit wants you, your angels want you. This is almost a kind of a reevaluating energy that we're going to get into. Because she's the Altar Priestess is the only card that you had come out upright as your ally. So it's asking you to really look at the little things, the simple things in life for their beauty. Taking that time to smell the flowers, to go on a walk and to notice the birds singing in the trees. Even if your life is a mess right now, they're asking you, they're begging you to look for the things, as hard as it may be, look for the little things. Embrace the little things. Take a moment to breathe and remember that your circumstances are only temporary. What is going on in your life will pass. Now the next card you have is the Sun Dancers. And the synonyms for this card are joyful activity, collaboration of life, and abundance. Now this came out as your Challenger, which means it's reversed. And what this card talks about is getting lost in the chaos of life. Forgetting about the small things. Not falling into all the negativity around you. This is asking you to have fun. Even if, going back to the first card, even if you're going through a difficulty right now, it's important to not get swept up in that energy. So the second card you have here is the Sun Dancers. And the synonyms for this card are joyful activity, collaboration of life, and abundance. Now this came out as a Challenger, which means it's reversed. And what this card is talking about, and kind of what we were talking about a little bit with the Altar Priestess, is when you're getting swept up in the chaos of life, it is important to remember to embrace the fun. And the energy that kind of came off this card is very much Virgo energy. When you're so structured, you're so focused on, I have to do this to ensure my future, I have to plan this has to be done. If this doesn't happen first, then this can't happen. All those types of energies are pulling you away from the moment and being in the moment. And you're spending so much time in this kind of chaos swirl that isn't really there, that it's taking you out of the moment and it's distracting you. And so when we have the spirit whisperer, she's talking, well, first of all, she also kind of has always looked to me like she's underwater in a sense, which again, we'll come back to in a second. But the spirit whisperer is about divine guidance and your higher knowing, your higher self. And it's reversed, which talks to me about you being blocked from hearing your angel messages, following the path to your higher self, right? I mean, in the imagery, there's this girl with her finger to her lips, kind of like in a shush motion, and here comes this owl with this wisdom and this knowledge. But because you're swept up in potentially negative to yourself, negative behaviors, they might not impact other people, but they're impacting yourself. Does that make sense? And Spirit's trying to get your attention to be like, hey, you need to look over here. You need to stop focusing on this thing over here. You know, Spirit is trying to put you on the right path, and they're on the sidelines doing everything they can to get your attention, but you're so focused on whatever it is that's in front of you that you're not seeing it. And this what's interesting is that, like, comes off very much to me as a wake-up call. This is your wake-up call, okay? And once we get through all the cards, I'll kind of explain the energy that I was getting when I pulled them out. But beside that, we have this Shadow Queen, which is about insecurity, manipulation. This is where that energy... So this is the energy that, I don't know if I said it a few minutes ago, but this is the energy where it's kind of like calling you out energy, because the Shadow Queen is kind of calling out your shadow side. It's asking you to go within and acknowledge the behaviors that are causing issues in your life. So maybe you're sitting on a park bench and you're thinking, why does this always happen to me? Why am I always the one to experience this? Or like, why is this? It's almost, and like I said, I have to kind of call it like I see it. This is Spirit calling you out and saying, well, it's not always you that this thing happens to. It happens to other people as well, right? We need to get out of this victim, woe is me energy, because it's taking you off the path to your highest good, right? It's not truly who you are. And what I thought was really interesting when I pulled these cards was what I felt, which I'm going to try my best to explain it. So when we're kids, right, when we're born, we are pure, innocent souls. And then things start to happen to us that create trauma, that create flaws, that create fears within us. And eventually we start to adapt these things into our life. If you're a kid and you're swimming in the ocean and you almost drown, and then you develop a fear of the water, it's from that incident. And so maybe as you grow up, you kind of build up this fear, and you never go in the water, and you never take your kids to the beach because you're afraid of it. And that's what this is talking about. Because who you were before that incident happened is who you're meant to be. That's the raw you. But this fear has created a flaw within you. And granted, there's so many other examples that you can use for this. And this goes into something we'll eventually bring up on the YouTube channel, but I'll link it in the description below as well. It's a book called Who's Running Your Life? And it talks about the difference between listening to your inner or having your inner child. It's not your inner child, it's really the fears of your inner child dictate choices and decisions that you make now. And how that, listening to that voice, listening to those fears, even if you're not aware of it. This is also, you have to remember, you might not even really be fully aware of it. But if you listen to those voices, if you listen to those fears, you're going to go off path from who you originally started out as and who you were meant to be. And now everybody struggles with this, right? Everybody goes through experiences that affect them negatively. But what your angels are asking you to do is to reevaluate those fears, those flaws, so they no longer hold you back. Because there's so much, even, and this is part of it too, that will come up in a moment in the animal oracle decks when we talk about that. You could be 55 years old, and you've been living your 50 years afraid of that ocean. And you're thinking to yourself right now, well, it doesn't matter because I'm 55 and I'm not going in the ocean. There's always time. Just because you've lived those 50 years afraid of the ocean doesn't mean you have the power. You have the power to make the change. Only you can make the change. You can go to therapy and they can tell you, oh yeah, you're afraid of the ocean. But only you are the one who can stand up to that fear, who can change that fear. Your therapist is not going to push you in the ocean. You have to push you in the ocean. Does that make sense? So now, when we look at these animal oracles, this will go back to what I said earlier about feeling like you're underwater. You have the giraffe spirit, which is see the bigger picture. Now we know giraffes have really long necks, and they can see much higher above what we can see. So this is spirit asking you or telling you, hey, we see where you could be going. We see the path you're on, and we need to course correct. Even though, and this will go into the other ones, even though, again, you think it's too late for me, it doesn't matter, it does matter. Because you might be 55, you might be 70, you might be 23. There is always time to course correct. There is always time to reflect on your flaws, reflect on negative energies, negative patterns, addiction, whatever it is, and change it. You might think, oh, I maybe messed up a relationship in the past and there's no way that person would ever talk to me again. Well, if we change ourselves, if we change our behaviors, and if we accept the things we've done in the past, we can. Now, we can't control whether the person accepts who we are now, but that's okay, because we're changing who we are and we're making a difference and we're moving forward, right? So next to that we have Ma Spirit, which is surrender now. This is the death of the old, what no longer works, what holds us back from being that, to embracing that pure who we started out as energy. And besides that, again, we have Vulture Spirit, which is nothing is wasted. You did not waste 50 years. It just took you 50 years to learn what you needed to learn. You still have time to change it. Vultures are also about death, but when a dead animal dies at the side of the road, they don't leave anything to waste, right? So just because your old self is going to waste, it doesn't matter, because it's going to be repurposed into the world. Maybe you can learn and you can teach people about how you've healed yourself, how you restarted, how you embraced your past, understood your past and your fears, and how you've come out the other end. Now, what's interesting, the imagery I kind of saw in the animal oracle, is if you look at the giraffe spirit, it kind of, the top of the card is red, and then moth spirit is all red, and the vulture spirit at the bottom is red. So it kind of moves like a wave, and what it felt like was fire energy. And it feels like you've kind of been stuck in this fire, chaotic energy that doesn't serve you, but you're really a water sign. And you don't actually have to be those signs, but that's just kind of the imagery that comes through. It's like you're stuck in this chaos and you don't know how to get out of it, and your spirit guides and your angels are saying, you're supposed to be in the water. What are you doing in the fire? So they're asking you to shift this. This is what they want you to do. They want you to transmute the old energy and embrace new energy. Right? So the Secret Garden cards that came out for you here, we have Retreat. Never underestimate the healing power of a quiet moment. So that's, again, going back to the Altar Priestess, taking that time to really analyze and be in the moment and embrace what you have in the moment. Discover is following that, and it says, look at the early dewdrops before they disappear with the morning sun. We need to look at the dewdrops, right, as the past, admire their beauty, but ultimately let them disappear and embrace the morning sun. And next to that, we have the weed card. Don't tolerate less than you deserve. We need to weed out these old energies, these old patterns, addictions, behaviors, whatever it is that resonates for you, and get rid of it. And the last card that came out, which was really beautiful, is the Radiance card. Keep your head held high and follow the sun. Again, embracing this new path, this new you, so you can be in your highest good. And the rune that came out for you is the ownership rune. Taking responsibility for the past. This is about learning from the past. But it also is about good luck. So we can't hold on to these ideas of, well, I act this way because of X, Y, and Z thing that happened to me in the past. We need to move on from that energy because it doesn't serve you. It only holds you in that past. Well, I hope group 333, this was helpful to you, because I believe in you. And I know it's going to be hard, and it is a very difficult thing to do, to reflect and to take ownership for things that have happened. But if you do this and you embrace your new path, it's going to really be beneficial to you. I hope you found that helpful, group 333, and I'll see you soon.